I'd like to welcome each one here this evening. I'd like to acknowledge the land which we gather is the traditional territory of the Nishnawbe, Ottawa, and Mississauga peoples. Before we begin tonight's meeting, I would like to acknowledge the traumatic event that occurred earlier today at Effie Medill Secondary School in Wingham. Our thoughts are with all those impacted, as well as their family and friends and the entire school community. We are grateful to the first responders, school staff, and emergency personnel who acted quickly. This is a difficult day for many in our community. On behalf of council and staff, we extend our support to everyone affected and to the Avon-Maitland District School Board as they work to support students and staff in the days ahead. Confirmation of the agenda that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby approves the agenda for April 7th, 2026 council meeting as presented. May I have a mover? Councillor Wright, Councillor Van Hitterson, all in favor? Carried. Disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Seeing none. Consent agenda that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby adopts consent items 4.1.1 to 4.1.2 and further that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives consent items 4.1.3 to 4.3.12 for information purposes. Before we pull anything out, could I have a mover, please? Councillor Whitfield, Councillor Wright. Okay, would anybody like to pull anything from the consent agenda? Go ahead, Councillor Van Hitterson, please.
Thank you, Reeve Heffer. I had a question for our fire chief, if he's here, or somebody who maybe can answer that question for him. It is regarding last year we purchased an emergency or a mobile shelter. And regarding the fire on Moncrief Road, I was wondering if that is one of the pieces of equipment that would be used during that fire, because it was such a lot of extreme weather and a lot of firefighters involved. So I was wondering about that, if that is one of those pieces of equipment that would be used.
I know, go ahead, Clerk Lamb, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, so to Councillor Van Hitterson's question, Chief Krieger couldn't be here tonight for the meeting, but we'll pass on the question to him and we'll have him respond with an answer to Council.
Thank you.
Okay. Would anybody else like to pull anything from any of reports at all that have been brought forward? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Yeah, I'd like to pull 4.3.10. And that's from the town of Northeast Manitoulin. It's regarding tar and chip. I didn't know this, but I guess the regulations are that everybody has to use a very light oil when it's mixed with the chips. And obviously it doesn't last as long. So it means it needs to be redone more often through time. So I guess I just wonder, is it really helping the environment as such? Anyways, I would like us to give them a letter of support to, maybe research it a little bit better, see if a heavier grade would indeed last longer.
Okay, thank you. Would anybody else like to pull anything? Any comments on any of the reports? A lot of stuff going on there, and I'm sure some of you have already been speaking to some of the people already. So at this time, I'll turn it over to Clerk Lamb.
Thank you, Your Worship. So if the mover, who is Councillor Whitfield, and the seconder, who is Councillor Wright, are fine with the friendly amendment, your new motion would be that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby adopts consent item 4.1.1 to 4.1.2, and further that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives consent items 4.1.3 to 4.3.12, exclusive of 4.3.10 for information purposes.
Okay, are you fine with that, mover and seconder?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Okay, go ahead, Clerk Lamb.
And then your second motion would be that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby directs staff to send a letter of support for agenda item 4.3.10. And you have a mover in Councillor Palmer and you need a seconder.
Seconder for that, please. Councillor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. Okay, now we're moving on to public meetings, hearings and delegations. There are none, so we'll go to 6.1.1 CL 2026-10 election signs bylaw review and update. Are there any questions for Director Lamb at this time? Go ahead, Councillor Van Hitterson.
Thank you, Reeve Heffer. These bylaws and reviews and updates are all provincially mandated, is how I would call it. Isn't that what it is? It's the same for all municipalities, and we just have to update it every couple of years to make it the same everywhere.
Go ahead, Lamb.
So through you, your worship, to answer Councillor Van Hitterson's question. So it's best practice for municipalities to update them in advance of every election cycle to make sure you're aligning with legislative changes and best practices. That's not to say every municipality has to have the exact same election sign bylaw, but Huron County has always held the practice of to align the election signs bylaws just because of porous nature of municipal boundaries. It allows for consistency among the voters in what they can expect. So this bylaw was updated by the Huron County Elections Working Group and is being taken to the respective municipal councils of all the lower tier municipalities in Huron County.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Especially in the East Wallnash ward, I'm just going from experience. It says to be 3 meters from the pavement, and that is difficult. On the big roads, Highway 4, you can probably manage it, but on the concessions and side roads, it's hard because the ditch is right there. And that's no good. It's hidden in that case. And then if it's not that, it's on a slope, and the signs don't work well on that. So I'm just letting you know. I know Councillor Van Hitterson can probably agree with me here. It is difficult to put the signs up. And I know you tend to cheat a little bit, and as long as it's not in the bothering drivers, that's what's happening. I'm not sure what the township would do if they tear them down or what. But you do the best you can. Just letting Carson, letting you know that candidates do the best they can without getting in the way.
Yep. So through you, your worship, to Councillor Palmer, the 3 meter piece, that's something not changed from the current bylaw, but really the intent of the election signs bylaw is to ensure safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, really the focus is on maintaining vehicular pedestrian safety. Yeah, I guess that would be my comments on that. Is really the scope.
We do our best.
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, if there's no more questions, I'll go for a mover, please. Councillor Van Hitterson, Councillor Wright, all in favor? Carried. CL 2026-11 North Huron removal of barriers to accessibility strategy update. Before we go to Director Lamb, I'll just ask for a mover. First, Councillor Van Hitterson, seconder. Councillor Wright. Okay, are there any questions for Director Lamb at this time? Oh, go ahead, Councillor Palmer.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. I'm just wondering, does the committee and the county committee, can it dictate to private businesses?
So through you, your worship, to Councillor Palmer, I guess I wouldn't say the committee's not really in developed to dictate anything. They're to focus improvements to accessibility wherever possible. So the reports we receive are all recommendations. They're more of a consulting body, and I think their role in a private business, any private business involvement would be if a private business wanted them to do a walkthrough of their space to provide recommendations on how they could either achieve compliance or make it even more accessible. That would be the extent of their role. The actual, I guess, for lack of a better term, enforcement body for accessibility standards is your Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility.
I say that because I noticed that on their list, it's the East Wallinash Public School, and that's a private business. I already know that it's a level entry into the building. And anyways, it's a private business, and if they want to talk to them, that's their business. But anyways, that was my big question. I was a bit shocked. The list is huge. I don't want to fight the list, but it says increase accessibility. The report mentions that we are basically OADA compliant. It said that. So this is more or extra. Yeah, I don't know. I just read, and when I read it, I'm going, okay, yeah, we need to do that and that and that and that. But there's going to be a big dollar sign at the end of this.
Through your
Just a
worship,
comment.
to Councillor Palmer, you are right. The township is AODA compliant in our buildings, right? They're all based on the current or the building code at the time and what was required. You do not need to make changes unless you're doing a reconstruction or a new build. That being said, there's a difference between being AODA compliant and accessible. So these are things to basically just have on our radar to help further enhance accessibility. And what we've found so far is it's a perfect report to have when applying for grants. So when grant money becomes available, we already have these reports and the strategy commission that helps back our case when we apply for grants.
I agree to that. That's good.
Okay, no other questions there. That the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives a report, Deputy Clerk / Planning Coordinator dated April 7th, 2026 regarding an update of North Huron removal of barriers to accessible strategy, and further that Council directs Clerk's Department to prepare a bylaw for the April 20, 2026 regular meeting to adopt the updated removal of barriers to accessibility strategy. All in favor? Carried. Finance 2026-11 2026 tax rate bylaw. Before we go to Director Fletcher, would I be able to have a mover, please? Councillor Whitfield, Councillor Palmer. Okay, are there any questions at this time for Director Fletcher? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Director Fletcher, yeah, we did talk earlier, so this isn't going to be a surprise to you. Could you explain, like, people understand percentages, like they can see that the tax is, we need $8 million basically for the budget. Could you put it in a percentage figure that is more easy to understand? And that's, they know that we were, 3.85 or something at the budget as far as an increase goes. So how does that all work out?
For you, Reeve, to Councillor Palmer. That is based on our overall assessment values of the properties year over year, and then we take how much money that we need to raise and we spread it across those properties. Between 25 and 26, we had a $5.3 million increase in our overall assessment values. So once we parse out the amount of money we need to raise across those properties, our actual increase, for example, for a residential property in Wingham would go up around $55 or about 2.5% from one year to another. per 100,000 of assessment. And all of those properties are still at the 2016 assessment values. So around 2.5%, or about $55 per 100,000 on residential, and about $13, $14 for farm for every 100,000.
So then the county and the education is on top of that.
Nope, that's all inclusive
Oh, great.
because we got
Okay.
the county rate, so
Okay,
just did it all together.
wonderful.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? Go ahead, Councillor Wright, please.
Yes, thanks. Through you, Reeve. I'm not sure if there's been any rumors or any notice of impact reassessment. As you said, the last one's 2016. It's getting quite old now, so I don't know if there's been any news on that front.
They haven't published anything to us, so we haven't been given a date that they plan to do it. But everybody's assessment when it comes on board with impact is still being assessed as if it were 2016. So yeah, when they do it all, hopefully they do it all at the same time, but we do not have a date for that. As soon as we hear of one, then we'll definitely share that information. It'll be, I'm sure you will hear about it the
Okay.
same time as us, for sure.
Thank you.
Go ahead again, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yes, thank you, Reeve. But regarding that, to be fair, when our assessments go up, it's still, the township still needs X amount of dollars. So it means basically the mill rate would go down because it all has to add up, right?
Right. So if your house is assessed at 100 and then suddenly they turn around and reassess and now it's 200, you're not going to be paying double your taxes. We still take the amount of money that's required and spread it across the assessed value. So it depends. Your taxes will be impacted more by the change in your value relative to your neighbors than from 16 to 26. So.
Good. Any other questions for Director Fletcher? Seeing none, that the Council of Township of North Huron hereby receives a report from Director of Finance Treasurer dated 7th, 2026 regarding the 2026 tax rates, and further that Council adopts bylaw number 27-2026, being a bylaw for the purposes of levying and collecting rates for various purposes, and to provide for the payment of taxes, and to provide for penalty and interest at the April 7th, 2026 regular council meeting. All in favor? Carried. 6.3 Recreation Child Services Department, RC 2026-04 RFP results for recreation registration management software. Before we go to Interim Director Horseman, I'll ask for a mover. Councillor Van Itterson, seconder. Councillor Palmer. Okay, at this time, are there any questions for Director Horseman? Seeing none, it looks like most things are put on the table. Did you have a question, Councillor Palmer? I wasn't sure if I saw your hand or not.
I was thinking about it. I was going to ask, is this price? I know it was a bidding thing, but this wasn't a shock to any of the staff? I was really glad when I got down to, it's spread over the 5 years, so then it's less shocking.
Comment by Interim Director Horseman, please.
Through you, Reeve. It wasn't a shock to staff involved in the procurement process. From what we did, from our research with other communities, it seems to be in line with what they're paying as well.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for Director Horseman at this time? Okay, the Council of Township of North Huron hereby receives a report from Interim Director of Recreation Facilities dated April 7th, 2026 regarding the RFP results for the Recreation Registration Management Software, and further that Council accepts the proposal submitted by Universe Software Canada Incorporated in the amount of $90,000 $421.50 plus applicable taxes, and the further that the council directs the clerk department to prepare a bylaw for the April 2026 regular meeting to enter into a 5-year service agreement with Universe Software Canada Incorporated for their recreation registration management software. All in favor? Carried. Public Works. 6.4.1 Public Works 2026-14 curbside collection and disposal of solid waste contract. Before we go to questions for Director Watson, I just asked for a mover. Councillor Whitfield, seconder. Seconder, Councillor Palmer. Okay, at this time, are there any questions for Director Watson at this time? Or if you'd like to speak for it a little bit at the start, Director Watson, that'd be great too.
Your worship, to members of council, this report took a village to write in my absence over the last couple of weeks. So we had many hands available in this report. So if there's any questions pertaining to finance tonight, we have Director Fletcher available to talk numbers. Yeah, if there's any questions, please begin.
Okay, we'll go to Councillor Van Henderson and Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Director Watson and Reeve Huffer. Can you please explain to me, like, the waste collection is now with bag tags. Everybody's paying a basic fee, and then the more you produce, the more tags you have to buy, and that's how you pay for the garbage collection that you produce extra. How does it work with if everybody gets a bin or 2 bins? People who produce way less waste, they still have to pay the same as people who are not producing as much? Or is there some kind of a code that the garbage truck scans, and then how often or how heavy it is you will be charged?
Through you, Reeve Huffer, to Councillor Van Henderson, I'll defer to Director Fletcher for that. She has worked the numbers on this and she would know more about that.
Through you, Reeve, to Councillor Van Henderson. Currently, yes, it is on a sort of pay-as-you-go method. You buy a bag tag for $2.75 and you put it on the road, it gets picked up, and we have approximately covered our costs from that over the years. This would be the equivalent of flat rate water billing. They don't have a weight measurement when they're picking up a bin. They just pick up a bin. So whether it's got 1 bag in it, 4 bags in it, equivalents, it's not going to matter. It's all automated. They used to have 2 individuals on the truck that would go around and physically pick it up. This is a fully automated system where it's 1 driver and the bins are automatically picked up by machine. So I think there's a weight limit on it, but there's no quantity variance for pricing.
Go ahead, Councillor Van Henderson, please.
Thank you. So if your bin is only picked up once a month or once every 2 months, do you pay less or not?
They would come around and just pick it up. If your bin is not on the road, it just doesn't get picked up, but you don't get a discount for not putting it at the road. Okay. So that would work the same way as we would in some of the other lower tiers as well, that already have those that have the 3 garbage and recycling streams in place already.
Okay, and that's also for the compost then, because in rural areas, a lot of people do compost their own compostable materials. So they have to pay anyways. Right now, when garbage is out, garbage day on the Tuesday is out, Waste Management goes around in the rural area with a pickup truck. So that shows you how little garbage there is, because they can pick it up in the back of a pickup truck. So I think this is a very unfair system. And I thought it would be more based on the amount of garbage you produce. And I don't think it's very good in reducing waste then. If you will be charged anyway, so you can put a lot of garbage out if you want.
I,
Hey,
Director
oh,
Watson has his hand up, so I'm not
Yeah,
sure if he wants to interject.
Yes, through you, Reeve Heffer, and I'm sorry, Director Fletcher, for stepping in. To Councillor Van Hittersum, first of all, I'd like to say the bag tags will be eliminated. We won't be having any bag tags anymore, so it will be a flat rate garbage collection. With the amount of garbage that you have, that you would normally have, that you would put in one bag, I know you would only buy one bag, but the only way to make this work across the board is to have it a flat rate right across the board. I don't believe that they have the ability on the truck to weigh and scan each bin and charge back accordingly. I think that would be an accounting nightmare. But this is the way it's being done everywhere with the flat rate system on the pickup.
okay.
Time for update.
Okay, I'll go to Councillor Palmer, then Councillor Wright, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Reeve. Okay, in Belgrave, we're a good example of the new system, but we're using, it's weekly, and we have one bin for recycle, one bin for garbage. And it works out very well, and it's weekly. I'm concerned about option 2 as a bi-weekly pickup. I don't know how large this bin is going to be, but it's going to smell, and it's going to get overloaded. We need weekly. We're full. We don't have a very large one, but it's full every week, and it's just Donna and myself. The recycle, it goes probably once a month. But anyways, that's just how it works, and you don't even think about what it costs. It's just part of the system. Being glad you get it. I am concerned about option 2. Option 1, like the price difference is blowing me apart here. Like $1 million difference for option 2. I like option 1 because it works for us and it would work for everybody else. You get good at it. You don't waste. You do a lot of recycling, and the rest is garbage, plain and simple. But it's the price. It's too much for option 2.
Okay, thank you.
So-
I'll go to Councillor Wright at this time, please.
Yeah, thanks. So through you, Director Watson, I think you talked about it a bit already, but just for some extra background. So as a municipality, we don't have a choice but to go to bins, correct? And then on top of that, flat rate billing seems like it's really the only model available to us. Is that both those statements true?
Through you, Your Worship, to Councillor Wright. That seems to be the general consensus going forward in the garbage collection industry, is to go with these bins. Yes.
And then if I could follow up, do we have any insight on, say, restrictions on, like what garbage service is available to people now, which won't be available in the future? So I'm thinking about, rentals versus individually owned properties. I'm thinking about rentals above Main Street, right? I'm not sure how the car parking will interfere with bin pickup. So I know you probably can't provide a fulsome list, but I mean, are there going to be some properties that currently get bag tag collection which won't be available for curbside pickup with bins?
Through Your Worship, to Councillor Wright. I believe that there will be enough wheelie bins delivered to like multiplex units that will be able to handle the amount of garbage that is coming out. I believe they're going to cap it at 4. I may be wrong. If anybody knows differently, please interject. But these bins are quite large. They hold quite a bit of material, and yeah, I don't think anybody's going to be without.
So each rental property, if it's assessed as a single property, it'll just be charged for one flat rate fee, even if they get multiple bins, or will they get charged multiple fees for multiple bins?
Okay, I'll bring Councillor Fletcher back in on that one. Maybe she can help us out.
Yeah, so some of the questions that you're asking are sort of we put them into, we will address some of those questions in the next council session. So in terms of how many bin sets, because they only deal with them as a set, they don't split them out. Some of that is how we choose to handle it. So for instance, in Goderich, they cap it at 4 sets per property. So your residential can go up to 6 units. And I think for space constraints, etc., they only allow a max of 4 sets of bins per property. And if you're going to need more than that, then you have to get into, a bigger bin system in the back. In terms of size, you had a question on that, Councillor Palmer. The solid waste garbage collection, those bins are that bin and the recycling bin are both the same size. They're the standard size bins. The organic bins are half the size of the solid waste. And I think one of the things to note in terms of what you can compost through this program is a little more intensive than what a home composter might do. Like you cannot at home, meat, dairy, different things. There's a lot of things that can go into this compost that you might not do in your own backyard. So that is also something to consider. Some of the other optional things when it comes to pricing and equitable, I would say, distribution of the bins is whether or not we allow anybody to elect out, because whatever the pricing would be or decided on for some of these options would be added as a one-time fee to the individual's property tax bill. And so those fees are per set of bins. So that fee would change if you had more than one set. So then you would pay for 2 sets of bins. Trying to think if I think I covered most of those. And your other option as well is this is more set out to be almost full cost recovery. And some places have supplemented the overall cost, paid a percentage of it, and limited the bill back to the residents, which is also another option at council discretion should you decide to pick one of these but not want to do a full cost recovery approach.
Okay, thank you. Were there any other hands being shown? Okay, in here, I'm just asking for, we have a mover and a second. I just want to know, is somebody want to bring forward a motion?
So you do have a motion on the floor, your worship.
Oh, okay, I got it. Yes, thanks. Now we got a mover and a seconder. Now that you've read this motion, it's the number 2 motion. Just want to make sure everybody's aware of that. Again, any other questions that you have before going to it?
So,
Yes, go ahead.
yeah, Reeve, so we see if option 2 lives or dies and then try an amendment, or what would be best
Right.
to tackle this?
Yeah, I guess that'd be the way we go with it. I guess my question was there, Director Fletcher said about if it could be supplemented a little bit from the municipality. I'm just wondering if you could talk a little bit more about that, or does that come later on? Just so, because I see where there's each side are looking at different things here.
To answer your question, Reeve, that is something that could be decided at the next meeting as we bring more details, because some of the cost considerations that are still going to have to be some decisions made around is going to be on the initial rollout. So the initial bin purchase and the initial delivery of those bins, et cetera, is also going to have a one-time cost, and whether or not that is absorbed by the township or whether or not that is billed back, that is part of what we're going to be bringing back to you in the next council report. And we can also discuss any supplements if that is your decision on the operational side. So this report was trying to focus on which operational stream you want to go down, then some of the financial impacts, specific financial impacts for rollout, and exactly how to bill will come in the next council session.
Okay, thank you. Again, go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, sorry to belinger this, but
No, it's an important decision.
it is. Actually, it's $1 million decision, one way or the other. If it was, option one, then we wouldn't be thinking about the need to sort of subsidize it because it's $1 million less. As far as buying bins, I bought my own bins. Everyone had to. It's just the way it was. They're not terribly expensive, so they last forever. Anyways, I still have trouble with option two. Sorry, staff, but weekly pickup is better, and you are worrying about maybe volume at the landfill. Hey, it's going to end up there anyways. You're going to have organic somewhere, but it's still going to be there.
Okay, so if there's no other questions go ahead, Councillor Wright, sorry.
Yeah, just one more question, and maybe just to give staff an option to speak about it freely. So option two, which was including organics bins, was the staff recommended option. So I just wonder if there's anything we haven't covered there the staff would like to bring up. To Councillor Palmer's point, it is an extra $1 million a year. $1 million a year, even though landfills are very expensive to, close up and to open, $1 million a year over, multiple years will go a long way even towards that. So do they see like an overall, with the extension of the landfill, do they see an overall savings to the municipality going with option two, or has that really been looked at in detail? I'm just, again, it's kind of an open question. If there could be a little bit more insight as to why number two is the staff recommended option from a financial picture.
Right. So through you, Reeve, Councillor Wright. So first, the total differential is not the $1 million a year. So please keep in mind that the totals between options 1 and 2, those are just it's just totaling years 1 through 5. So you would have to look at it individually. So the difference in year 1 is 416 to 228. So that is your difference per year. So there is, it's about like 1.5 times, because you're going from 4 to 6.5, right? So it's not double, but it is increased, and part of it is, and I think maybe I will move over to Director Watson for this piece, but in terms of the other considerations and reasons why this would be supported, we can look to bring back some more detailed analysis of the impact to our landfill should we not focus on the waste diversion that would happen with the collection of organics. Those are scheduled to be sent to another facility for processing, where that can all be used and leveraged by the residents. So I will pass it to Director Watson.
Thank you, Director Fletcher, and through you, your worship, to council. Director Fletcher hit it right on the head there. Like all this recycling, or not recycling, all this organics will be picked up, and it will be taken to All Treat Farms in Arthur, so it will not even see our landfill. Our landfill is is getting quite full. We could see and realize a 25% reduction in waste going into that landfill if we took on the organics piece. Just on a personal level, I've been living in Wellington County for many years, and we've been doing a lot of this. And I got to tell you, every week we put a lot of stuff out in that organics bin, and our bag is pretty light going to the landfill. So I've seen it firsthand that it works very well. But yes, so none of it will go to our landfill. Our landfill will stretch out a few years more, and good for the environment. And yeah, well, I think it's a great idea.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Van Hitterson, please.
Thank you, Reeve Heffer. To Director Watson, are you aware that the province is working on some kind of a disintegration oven or anything like that? Because the population is growing and waste is only going to be a bigger problem. Do you know if there's anybody like the plant in Michigan, in Ontario, is doing something like that, or developing something like a plant that burns waste?
Through your worship to Councillor Van Hitterson, no, I am not aware of anything like that. I know it's done extensively in Europe, in the Scandinavian countries, but no, I have not heard of anything like that happening in this province.
Okay, go ahead, Councillor Wright, please.
So, I realize the clock's probably ticking on getting a decision for this. I know the intent is to sign a 5-year term with 2 conditional 1-year extensions. But I don't know if I've seen I don't know if I'm convinced financially that option 2 is actually better for municipalities. So just a question, if we went with option 1 for now, could the contract be written to possibly open it up in, say, 2 years to switch to the bi-weekly garbage collection and weekly or organics collection, just so that, if we give it further consideration and the numbers make sense, that we could potentially change?
I think we may have to retender through that process. That would be starting over again.
Okay, any other questions at this time? Okay, I have a motion here that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives a report from the interim director of that the Council of Township of North Huron receives the report prepared by Director of Public Works Facilities dated April 7th, 2026 regarding RFP results of Public Works 04-2026 curbside collection and disposal of solid waste contract, and further that the council directs the clerk's department to prepare a bylaw for the April 20, 2026 regular meeting to enter into a contract with Waste Management for curbside collection and disposal of solid waste as per option 2 identified in the staff report Public Works 2026, and further that the council authorizes for the agreement with Waste Management to be for the 5-year term until 2031 with 2 conditional 1-year extensions for the contract term for solid waste services. I have a mover and a seconder. I'm going to go and ask those in favor. Defeated. Okay, so instead, I won't read all that again, but go to option 1. And just put in option 1 there, identified in the staff report, Public Works 2026-14, and further that the council authorize the agreement with Waste Management to be for 5-year term until 2031 with 2 conditional 1-year extensions for the contract term for solid waste services. Those in favor? I got to see carried. I see 3 there. Yeah, sometimes your screens aren't quite lined
Sorry,
up.
your worship, did you have a mover for that? A mover and a seconder? First.
Oh, for the new one? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. May I have a mover for our last option? Councillor Wright, Councillor Palmer, And now we'll go to a vote on that for option number 1. May I see your hands, please? Carried. 6.4.2, Public Works 2026-15, purchase of a utility tractor and attachments. Are there any questions for Director Watson at this time? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. Director Watson, sorry about the last one. Anyways, does the new Kubota have a loader?
Through your worship to Councillor Palmer, the new tractor will not have a loader. It does have a system on the front end of the tractor that is a tool carrier, that it will carry the snow removal tools and the boulevard sweeping capabilities with a broom on it, but it does not have a loader. The tractor that we purchased last year does.
Okay, and I was wondering, can the old one be kept and used as a spare at all? It's tough getting rid of old tractors because it's not that old, really.
Through your worship to Councillor Palmer, that tractor was not put in as a trade option, so we will have it available to either declare as surplus or to repurpose within the Public Works Department. And I might add, I had my hand up there a little while ago. I was contacted by the sales representative today that worked the deal up for this tractor, and he was in pretty tough shape because he underbid this by $6,900. So the actual price now would be $97,315.05 plus applicable taxes.
Meaning we get it for 90? Because he made the mistake? How's that go?
We haven't signed the deal yet.
So now we're stuck for 67 or 97,000 then.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Wright, please.
So then, did this not go out to tender?
Yeah.
This went on Canoe, and he did the calculations came back to him, and they thought it was right, but it came back wrong.
That's not our problem.
Well, I was just gonna say,
It's a
size of this would, I mean, I don't know our policy offhand, but is this not to the size that we needed to go to tender for it?
we went through the Canoe Group, and we got quotes with John Deere and Kubota, and our budget was 106,000. So we are within our budget limitations for this.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not familiar with the Canoe Group, but I'm familiar with tenders, and tenders are final. So is this the equivalent of a tender, or is it not the equivalent of a tender?
It should be, and we can look into that.
I would cut that in half, try and make it, not try, but show
Leverage
good
it.
faith but only go half.
Well, so is this significantly better pricing than the next lowest tender? Was this the only bid that we received?
The next tender that we did was for a John Deere, and the John Deere equipment that was priced out was smaller. We're in around 44 horsepower with this tractor in the frame that suits our sidewalk machine. So the John Deere tractor was 32 horsepower. This tractor also, the Kubota tractor, also runs a 12-foot finishing mower all summer, and so the extra power was needed to run that more.
So is this the only bid we got for the Kubota tractor?
Yes, this is there's only so many tractors that are of the size that will fit down our sidewalks. They have to be like 65 inches or less, and then that is the biggest in that size, like the biggest horsepower unit in that size of frame. And the pricing for Kubota would be the same, whether or not it's from Lucknow or Erin. They're all competitive.
So,
Any,
if I may, your worship, if it's of assistance, what you could do is council could provide direction for the original motion at the original price and of the 90,400, and that would give staff direction to go back and award it at that amount. And if the bidder was not okay with that, or it would allow staff more time to see whether they're whether we have standing in regard to a bid change dollar figure. Then if they're not accepting of it at the 94, then we could bring a follow-up report back, because this is not a time sensitive procurement. We have the ability to bring it back.
go ahead, Councillor Wright, please.
Yeah, I'm just a bit, I guess, unsure what our bylaws are, and how this purchase aligns with the bylaws. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying I'm unfamiliar with our bylaws, because it didn't sound like this went through any kind of competitive process. It sounds like we decided to buy a Kubota and we went and bought a Kubota. So is that in alignment with our bylaws on procurement?
Go ahead, Director Watson.
Sorry, I had a little problem here with my mouse. Yes, in our bylaw, our procurement bylaw, there is verbiage in there for cooperative buying, and that is what the Canoe Group represents is cooperative buying. So you can either just go and get one quote and go with that quote, or you can actually go in and get multiple quotes and then compare them to each other. So we actually did go in and get 2 different quotes on 2 local dealers, and we found that the Kubota was the best buy. The John Deere comparable wasn't comparable. It was about 10 horsepower less, was going to come in well over 120 some thousand. So this is why we went with the Kubota. Now this is the new model line that we're looking at in the Kubota tractor. The 4060 was the old standard. Now it's called the 4477, I believe. So I think that with the new tractor coming in, the pricing was a little skewed on it, and that resulted in our little problem right now.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just going to make this observation. I know Canoe, like they do a terrific job, but do with what our clerk told us to do. I'm just wondering if Director Watson would be happy with that, if we had that on to the end of the motion and let Clerk Lamb scribe that. Would the council be all right with that? Because we are needing one that's going to be able to carry that more. And I understand the John Deere can't, and the John Deere is a lot more money than what we had budgeted anyways. So I'm just asking, would you mind scribing that as a motion and see if they're acceptable to it, Clerk Lamb?
So through you, your worship, I do think you just pass the original motion, and if staff can't carry out that direction because there's a discrepancy with the proponent, then we would bring a follow-up report back with the new dollar figure seeking council direction. So your motion would be that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives a report from the Director of Public Works and Facilities dated April 7th, 2026 regarding the purchase of a utility tractor and attachments. And further, that council accepts the bid submitted by Roberts Equipment Lucknow in the amount of $90,400 plus applicable taxes for a 2026 L4470 Kubota 4x4 tractor with snowblower, broom, and blade.
Okay, and I need a mover.
Right there.
Seconder, Councillor Wright, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. We move on to 6.4.3. It's FA 2026-04 surplus and sale of former North Huron Museum building. At this time, I'm just going to ask you to, there's a report that we're given. If you could just, are there any questions for Director Watson at this time? Go ahead, Councillor Van Henderson.
Thank you, Reeve Heffer. It is regarding the clock tower because it is singled out, and there's already talk about relocation from the clock, and the clock tower is specifically built for. How are we able to try to sell a building or part of a building when we still want to do all kinds of potentially relocations and taking the clock out? And I think it's a little bit of a strange process the way we're doing it right now, but maybe I'm totally wrong. So can you
Go
give
ahead,
explanation for that?
Director Watson, could you just help that out, please?
Yeah, through you, your worship, to Councillor Van Hittersum. A lot of those will be addressed in the offer, like if you got a conditional offer for the clock to stay, or if they know that we want to, you know, keep it for heritage reasons, you know, but that will be addressed down the way in a condition of sale.
Okay, is that fine with you, Councillor Van Hittersum? Does that?
Well, yeah, and how will that affect the what is it called? The and the assessment? What?
The assessment?
No, the quote that they are going to give us for what it's worth.
Well, the appraisal.
The appraisal.
The appraisal.
Yeah.
Through you, your worship, to Councillor Van Hittersum. That's a question I can't answer. I would think that with the assessment, it would be fully assessed with the clock in the tower. With the appraisal, basically what you're looking for is a number that you can, you know, kind of rely on to, you know, what you would ask for the property. Maybe our CAO would like to jump in and add
So-
something to that.
If I actually may, your worship, to build on Director Watson, when you obtain an appraisal, you can have it specify the appraisal value with and without the clock tower present. So you can specify that in the scope of the appraisal and obtain the appraised value for both of those options. That's quite common for appraisals to be circumstantial with inclusions or exclusions.
Okay.
First of all, I'll just see if our CAO would like to add anything to that before we go to Councillor Palmer.
Yep. Thank you, Reeve Heffer, and through council. Yeah, Carson, our Director of Legislative Services, is correct. We can create, obviously, the appraisal to include the tower or without the tower. And then we can also, as part of discussions with potential buyers, discuss the lands next door for the gardens and then see what, you know, what are the intents of the municipality, like what's the township's interest or maintaining, or if the buyers, you know, adamant to or need the space for their property. That'll be part of the discussions and conversations as we go through the negotiations and be brought back to council with any potential offers. So the intent is to try to preserve as best we can, but again, obviously there may be circumstances where we need to adapt and you know, maybe do some relocations for, you know, the maintaining some of our heritage pieces for the township's future.
Thank you. Councillor Palmer, I think you had your hand, or maybe it was Councillor.
Yeah, no, I did.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Reeve. Yeah, is it possible to let it be known to a potential purchaser that the zoning can be changed? Maybe they want to make it a residence?
I'll ask somebody answer that question for us. Go ahead.
I'm just going to pop up here through your Reeve Heffer. I would defer to our CAO, Nelson Santos, for that one.
Okay, go ahead, CAO.
Yes, thank you, Reeve Heffer, and through you to Councillor Palmer. Absolutely. I think any opportunity to rezone or even have, you know, discussions with our eventual broker or the potential buyer, those opportunities to explore a rezoning would come forward, and we would go through an initial meeting to identify what that process would be for them. Again, that would create another condition on an offer potentially, but again, we want to make sure that there's flexibility in getting the property to the public's hands.
Right.
Thank you. Councillor Wright, please.
Yes, thanks, Reeve. So just to comment, if we're looking to maintain, or I guess it is a question, if we're looking to maintain the clock as a piece for heritage, you know, do we think we have to relocate it, or we think we can just put that in the condition of the sale, that it has to be left in its location, but potentially North Huron would look after any maintenance or repair costs associated with the clock?
Maybe go to our CAO for that, please.
Yes, thank you, Reeve Heffer, and through you to Councillor Wright. There is an opportunity to maybe enter into service agreement with the potential purchaser that would identify those, costs, operations, or maintenance, for the heritage piece for the clock. Again, that's something we would have to discuss at the time of offer put in there. But again, if it's something council wishes to maintain, it definitely would be an ideal opportunity to not have to relocate and still maintain a type of presence for it. And again, I know it's quite the tradition and an acknowledgement within the community to hear the bell tower. Maintaining that, I think, service and operation would maybe beneficial and would be even supportive for any new owner.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for our CAO at this time? Seeing none, we have the motion in front of us. So I'm asking for a mover. Councillor Wright, Councillor Van Henderson. All in favor? Carried. 6.6.1 CS 2026-05 expansion of bring your own event permits for outdoor public events. Before we go to questions for our CEC, could I have a mover, please? Councillor Wright, Councillor Whitfield. Okay, at this time, are there any questions for our CEC, please? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. If I'm understanding it correctly, you could bring your own alcohol to one of these open public events, but what about for checking for ID? Like when it's at a bar situation, the bartender, he or she is certified, registered, and they can check. How would that happen? Who does the checking?
Sure.
Plain and simple.
Through you, Reeve Heffer, Councillor Palmer. So when this is actually, you can't just put a bottle of wine into your backpack and bring it to an event. The special event organizer actually has to apply to have a designated area for consuming your own alcohol. So when you enter into that designated area, if the special event organizer wants to do this, they would apply for that designation for that area, and that's where the security would check to see if they had their own ID.
Gotcha. Okay. And can I have a follow-up?
Yes.
Yeah, and I was wondering, a lot of times these events, they're fundraisers for, the club or the committee or whoever puts it on. So selling alcohol, makes them money. So how does it work if individuals can bring their own? Would there be a fee stuck on every person that walks in the gate? That they have to pay $5, and then they can bring their own alcohol in. There are different ways of doing it.
Again, through you, Reeve Heffer, to Councillor Palmer, that would be an actual decision from the special event organizer. So what municipalities were told was to give that option in our documentation, so our special event binder or our municipal alcohol policy. The special event organizer does not have to opt in for this option. And liability can be extended for this option. Something that they might not want to do. And that would be the special event organizer's position. Again, they raise money to house these bands, to have the festival run with these sales of alcohol. So, and again, if you are serving, if you're getting that tailgate permit, it's now called something different, the outdoor bring your own alcohol. If you're applying for that, your insurance policy can increase because you're opening up that situation to bringing your own alcohol. So it's up to the special event organizer. Just as a municipality, we were directed to make that change and have that option available to special event organizers. But I've been talking to the health unit, I've been talking to special event organizers, and a lot of them will not be offering this. And they haven't offered the tailgate option before.
Okay, good. Nice that it's optional.
Hey, any other questions for our CEC at all? Seeing none, we have a mover and a seconder. All in favor? Carried. Move to 6.6.2 CAO 2026-05 Commercial Facade Improvement Grant Application 446 Josephine Street, Wingham. Okay, at this time, are there any questions for our EDO officer? We have Ritu on the here now. Go ahead, Councillor Van Hitterson, please.
Thank you, Reeve Heffer. Ms. Bartwai, is this an existing Wingham business that is just moving to a different area, or is it a new business for Wingham?
Through you, Reeve, to Councillor. This is an existing business in Wingham, so that business is relocating, but the property owner is applied for the CIP grant because it's his property and the business is relocating to his property, and that commercial property 446 Josephine Street, so it was vacant, and then the new business is they signed the lease agreement with the property owner. So now the property owner is interested to revamping and redeveloping the commercial property, changing the windows, making the accessible door entry and front signage. So he's doing those upgradation and he is looking for our support. So that's why he applied for the CAP grant.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Any other questions for Ritu? I know it's going to be a cabinet type maker and whatnot. I saw the truck in there yesterday, and again, it'll benefit the building for sure, especially right on the main street and whatnot. And yeah. So if there's no other questions at this time, do I have a mover? Somebody moving, Councillor Van Hitterson, Councillor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. CAO 2026-06 Joint Facilities Operator 2 position. So at this time, I'll just maybe ask our CEO if he just would like to give a little prelude to this position, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve Heffer, and to members of council. The report tonight is looking at bringing on a full-time position as a joint operator that would cross over between departments in public works as well as recreation. At this time, our system and structure presently has a seasonal operator for recreation that runs from basically September through to the end of March. In discussions with our Director of Public Works and our previous Director of Recreation, the opportunity here to provide for some continuity and support for all seasons with this joint operator would be a benefit and certainly more effective use for our staff and support our community groups in the different times of the season. I certainly could defer to Mr. Watson to speak to the time for the summer months for the Public Works piece, where the staff member would cross over into to those operations, but then also provide for flexibility during the year, so this operator could go between departments should the need arise for those. But certainly would open up to any questions or ask Mr. Watson just kind of speak a little bit to the added value for this individual.
Okay, thank you. I'll turn it over to Director Watson, please.
Through you, Reeve Heffer, to members of council, and thank you, Mr. Santos. So when Director Stice and myself were talking about this position, she was finding that she was needing a qualified operator for the arena every year, and then they would lose that operator in the spring and then probably not be able to get them back in the fall. So we thought if we could combine our efforts and have that full-time operator stay around all the time, they would have a quality person coming back into the rec department to be an operator in the arenas, and it would give us an extra person down in Blythe that they haven't had before. Wingham Public Works Yard gets 2 students every year, so that bumps their count up to 8, and then down in Blythe they're left at 5. So having another operator come down into Blythe would make their grass cutting operations a little smoother. They would be able to deploy and take care of cold patching, signage, roadside cutting more efficiently. So this is where we are today, with hoping to have a full-time employee that dedicated to rec, with a good resume that can be utilized by the roads department in the summertime for a lot of the functions that we do.
Okay, thank you. So now with those type of review of what's going on, are there any questions for either or here? Go ahead, Councillor Wright, please.
Thanks, Reeve. So is it just one current seasonal operator we hire? Is all the other operators full-time employees?
I'll ask Mr. Watson.
Mr. Santos, would you rather speak to that, or? No, okay. So through your Reeve Heffer to Councillor Wright. Right now, with the rec department, it is a seasonal operator that they have. They try and pull a qualified person in from interviews every fall to have the training of it. Like, they need operator 1 or 2 training. Those people aren't just readily available. So this being offered up as a full-time position, we thought we'd draw in a decent person that wants to be part of the North Huron team, be part of the municipal life, and be able to work both sides, inside in the winter and outside in the summer. And if you're a municipal employee, you don't get that opportunity very often. So that was the crux behind this whole thing. Add some more hours down in Blythe, so that they can properly and efficiently do their work with their trail maintenance and their grass cutting, and all the other roadside things that they need to do. So yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Go ahead, Councillor Wright.
Yeah, sorry. My question actually was, are all the other operators we employ full-time positions? Is this the only seasonal one?
We have a wintertime seasonal operator for sidewalks in Blythe. And then we have 2 students in Wingham that we hire in the summertime. But all the rest of them are full-time employees.
Okay, so as far as needing a qualified person to run the arenas, we only have 1 part-time position right now, and you're basically looking to make sure that we have all full-time positions to run the ice plants. Is that basically the summary of it?
I think the where we started and ended up was being able to get a qualified person to come in and be there yearly. They'll be there every year, so we'd have consistent good operators in the rec facility.
Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Yeah, I get from it that it's hard to find almost a new person year after year to help with the arenas. So having someone full-time and then switch them around. I love the efficiency of it, staff. this is a good use of that, and yeah, kudos to you for thinking of this. Yeah, this is good.
Okay. Okay, are there any other questions for the two gentlemen that were on? Seeing none, I ask that we have a mover. Somebody have a mover, Councillor Palmer, seconder, Councillor Van Hitterson. All those in favor? Carried. Correspondence 7.1. Ink stained wretches flag raising request for World Press Freedom Day on May the 3rd. Do you sort of have a motion made up there? Or if we got any questions at all, Clerk Lamb, please.
Yeah, so through you, your worship, the request was there. Information about the World Press Freedom Day campaign was there as well, and staff felt it prudent to attach the North Huron flag protocol policy as well. So really nothing further to add beyond the request, but it really comes down to two options, to either approve or deny the request, and so staff would have a motion depending on which option council selects.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about it before we go to the vote? Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. I have a page full. I've got concerns here. Recognition of World Press Freedom Day. It's hooked in with the United Nations, their Sustainable Development, what is it, Guide 16 or something like that. Can't read my writing. Goal 16. And I looked that up, and it's facing corruption, never-ending conflicts around the world, and they're usually religious related. There's inequities with people. That's human nature. Never going to change that. The economic opportunities. You got your rich countries and your poor, and access to justice. Love to have that. It's great, but it's very difficult. And back in 2023, the UN, in their own report, said, and their goal is to have it really good, have this working, this plan by 2030. And by their own admission, they said that it hasn't moved ahead. It's dead in the water. It sounds all great. It's all for peace and all these good things that we'd love to have, but we've got a world that's pretty interesting right now, and always have. So I wondered what the flag would look like, and I couldn't find it, because that kind of, is it appealing or not? I've got comments, but if anyone else wanted to chime in, go ahead at this point.
Anybody else has any thoughts at this time? If not, we'll let you go for another round there.
Oh dear, this is where I'm going to get ugly. I feel personally, freedom of the press is dangerous. They can say anything they want. They can defame you. Doesn't matter unless you sue them. You have to win. AI is entering the picture. They can make unflattering depictions of people, and we've seen that. Also, there's talking about the power of the pen. You can't do anything about it because the power of the pen, them, always will win. Now, there's the media in general is you can't trust it. The government, whatever money they give, how much money they give to the press, news media channels, CBC got $1.4 billion. Well, guess who they support? The Liberals. That's just the way it is. They get the money from them.
I think we'll
And,
just carry on with the flag here.
Yeah, but I'm getting to it because it's
Okay.
all part of the big nutshell. Anyways, I want a balance, and there isn't a balance. Okay, I'm cutting it all short. So we have a policy. We have a flag policy here, and nothing can be political. Nothing can be otherwise hurtful. And this flag, because it's United Nations related, anything United Nations is political, just the nature of the beast. So I'm not in favor of it.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, Carson, do you just want to read which one we want to go with first and go to a vote?
So if, through your worship, if a member wants to put forward a motion to either approve or deny the request, and then I can read it back.
Okay, would somebody like to put the thing? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we deny this request under the guise that the flag is potentially political.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead when you're ready, Mr. Lamb, please.
So your motion would be that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby receives the request from Inkstained Wretches regarding a flag raising request for World Press Freedom Day on May 3rd, 2026, and further that Council denies the request to fly the World Press Freedom Day flag on May 3rd, 2026 at the North Huron Municipal Office. So you have a mover in Councillor Palmer, and you need a seconder.
You have a seconder? Go ahead, Councillor Whitfield. All in favor of this motion? Carried. Bylaws. There's no, and any notice of motion? Sorry, I missed that. Any notice of motions? Seeing none, we'll go to bylaws. Bylaw number 24-2026, use of corporate resources during election policy. May I have a mover? Councillor Van Itterson, seconder. Councillor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw number 25-2026, recreation program service agreement with Huron County. May I have a mover? Councillor Wright, Councillor Palmer, all in favor? Carried. Bylaw 9.3, bylaw number 26-2026, transfer payment agreement for community emergency preparedness grant. May I have a mover? Councillor Van Hitterson, seconder. Seconder, Councillor Wright, or sorry, yeah, Councillor Whitfield. Thank you. All in favor? Other business at this time? There's none. Council reports. I just want to say that Councillor Palmer, myself,
Did you
got
not
to
miss
go-
9.4?
You need to back up to 9.4, the tax
Yeah.
rate bylaw.
Oh, sorry. All in favor?
You require a
I'll make a
mover and a
motion.
seconder for that one as well.
Oh, and
Make the motion.
Councillor Palmer, all in favor? Carried. Okay, we're going to number 10, other business, none. Number 11, council reports. Reads activity. I just want to say that Councillor Palmer and myself were met to the OFA meeting, and the only part I'm going to bring up is they'd really like to see some export happening at the Goderich port, more like containers and whatnot. I know the ships go in and out of there, but they just feel it's such a great port that could really be well used. But that is their high hope when so much beans and whatnot are grown in this area, especially the bean thing where so much of it is exported. I'd like to also say that our CAO, Nelson and I, and Ritu, we're over at the Life on the Footstool. This lady's looking after children with special needs. It's sort of at that age where they're through school and after, and just that she's going to work with them and whatnot. So she fixed up. They just did some work there in the CIP grant there a little while ago, and she's working there with people, but is a great half hour just seeing what goes on there. And again, this evening, the almost famous players are putting on a program up above us right now. And it's on tonight and then on Thursday at 7 and Sunday afternoon at 2. And usually they're pretty well sold out. See a lot of people walking past going there this time. So again, kudos out to those people that volunteer their time and work with these kids. And it's I shouldn't say kids, young folk, and they just have a great time there. So at this time, I'll ask any council members or board committee reports. Go ahead, Councillor Van Henderson, please.
Thank you, Reeve Heffer. I just would like to give some attention to the Belgrave Playground Committee. They are in the final stages of their kickoff to summer event, and it's gearing up to be a fantastic weekend with kids activities, a DJ dance. Adam Cousins Band is coming. There will be a special breakfast. There's lots of kids activities. There will be a little a zoo, kids zoo, and a petting zoo. That's what it is, not a wild zoo. Wrestling event. Yeah, it will be. So keep your June weekends free for this, because it will be really good. And the volunteers, together with the Kinsman and the Belgrave Arena Board, are doing a fantastic job to make this happen and to fundraise for the Belgrave Playground. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any comments by members? Go ahead, Councillor Palmer, please.
Yeah, thank you, Reeve. Yeah, this is a follow-up to when you mentioned about the MPP's political forum set up by the Huron Federation of Agriculture. Yeah, we had Lisa Thompson, MPP, and Ben Lobb, MP, present. It was really a good opportunity to talk with them and see what's coming, and thank them for, especially Lisa, for the grants that we have received for this year. So there were 6 commodity groups there, and they gave an update on their particular commodity and discussed how they fit into the agriculture, or Ontario's agricultural picture, you know, both present now and in the future. The Huron Federation of Agriculture reported on their finances and land use and PR. The county talked about these additional residential units on farms, some different designs that are out there now, and they were kind of interesting. All told, the forum was informative from an agricultural standpoint, and most importantly, we heard from our governments, the people that we elected. It was a valuable time for them as well, because of the feedback that they were getting. It was definitely a two-way street. Actually, there was lots of networking there. It was a full house. It was a good day. And some fun facts, in the Huron County, there's 2,564 farms. About 60, just under 6,400 people are employed in the agricultural business, and that includes businesses outside of the farms. And the farms generate a whopping 1.8 billion with a B dollars. This is farm cash receipts. So pretty proud of that. Huron County is a huge agricultural producer. So, yeah, thank you.
Great, thank you. If there's no other comments by members, we'll go to the next meeting. Will be held April 20th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Electronic virtual meeting fully by electronic means using the Zoom webinar meetings. The Court of Revision for Jaretski Municipal Drain Improvement 2026 will be held on Wednesday, April 8th, 2026 at 10 a.m. as an electronic virtual meeting fully by electronic means using Zoom webinar meetings. And the next Blythe BIA board meeting will be held on Thursday, April 16th at 8 a.m. in the first floor of the meeting room of the Blythe District Community Center. The next Wingham BIA board meeting will be held on Thursday, April 16th, 2026 at 6:30 in the Hot Stove Lounge, North Huron, West Cass Community Complex. Are there any other announcements? Seeing none. Closed session and reporting out that the Council of the Township of North Huron hereby proceeds at
7:29.
7:29 to in camera closed session to the public under section 239, 2E and F of the Municipal Act to discuss the following: litigation, potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that purpose, active litigation and solicitor advice. And further, that the CAO, the Director of Legislative Service / Clerk, and the Deputy Clerk, Planning Coordinator and Records Management and Information Coordinator, and Jason Raynar and Jennifer Hunter of Learners LLP remain in attendance. May I have a mover? Councillor Van Hitterson, Councillor Wright, all in favor? Carried.
So you're live again.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'll ask CAO to report out, please.
Yep, thank you, Reeve Pfeffer. Members of council just met in closed session to deal with a matter under section 239(2) E and F of the Municipal Act to discuss a matter of litigation. And from that discussions, we have provided, council has provided direction to administration to pursue a response as part of one of the current administrative tribunals in effect, affecting the municipality.
Thank you. At this time, I'll go to 14.1, bylaw number 28, 2026, conformatory bylaw. May I have a mover? Councillor Palmer, Councillor Whitfield, Councillor Van Hitterson, all in favor? Carried. Number 15, adjournment. The Council of Township of North Huron agree that there being no further business before council, the April 7th, 2026 regular council meeting be hereby adjourned at
8:46 p.m.
8:46. May I have a mover? Councillor Whitfield, Councillor Wright, all in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, folks.